celebrating. So.
Yeah. We're eating that imaginary cake that was in that folder.
I know.
In the audience.
Right.
All right, let's go.
Welcome everyone to the Evans Redevelopment Agency meeting, April 20th, 2021. I'll call the meeting to order. Take roll call, please.
Chairman Rooney.
Here.
Vice Chair Clark.
Here.
Commissioner Spear.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Present.
Commissioner Neal.
Present.
Commissioner Castle.
Here.
Commissioner Mortensen.
Here.
Thank you. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No, Mayor.
Move to approve the agenda.
A second.
Motion and second to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item, consent agenda. Approval of the April 6th, 2021 Evans Redevelopment Agency meeting minutes.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item, new business. First item, extension of master plan development agreement for 3108 State Street.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chairman. And good evening, members of the board. We do have both of the master development agreements up in front of you this evening for potential extension. There have been significant activity on both sites. I would say certainly on the Randy's Diner site, which has had the longer agreements, certainly the COVID period and then a very promising start with a diversion in our path have both befallen that property. But with that lead-in, I will ask our Economic Development Manager, Allison Moding, to just start with the 3108 State Street property that we call Randy's Diner, to talk about what's been happening there, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Jim. I like to call it the southeast corner of 31st and 85th because, or Highway 85, just because that's so much easier to say. But as you have probably read in the staff report, our agreements with Flexible Real Estate do go back to September of 2019. We continue to stay in close contact with the developers as things have sort of ebbed and flowed over the last period of time. So I will say that we were a little disappointed when our course changed earlier this year, but I think in the long run it's going to be a positive for the corridor because it does give us some opportunities to do something a little bit different on our particular property. So we would recommend today that we propose an extension of 6 months, and in talking with our development partner, they do believe that that's an adequate amount of time to identify the next user and bring that to you for some additional information and hopefully get that rolling. So with that, I would just say, Flexible has been a wonderful partner to work with. They really have, I think, gone above and beyond to stay in contact with us and at least let me know what as things are happening. And so I do value their expertise and their partnership on this particular project. So I would just say the agreement itself is unchanged from the agreement that was previously approved by the board. And so we've just updated those dates and we'll ask for your approval.
So no cost to the city. So that's
Yes, no financial arrangements. Just
that does conclude our remarks.
Thank you. Any questions of staff or comments? None.
I do.
Go ahead, Laura.
So Allison, what is your role with Flexible? Are you still beating the bushes to try to get some development in there too, or are you just sitting aside and
we do occasionally get requests. The property is listed publicly by Flexible Real Estate, but folks are smart and they trace it back to the city. And so we just continue to refer any interested parties to Flexible and allow them to negotiate with them. As we hear from folks that might be interested, we're certainly running those past our partners and asking them to consider those uses. So it's kind of, in a lot of ways, it's a two-way street. We have that opportunity to pass
I
folks.
might add that Allison also facilitates information that's needed by parties, like on utilities and infrastructure, the planning process. She acts as kind of an ombudsperson with our planning department, engineering, so that information is streamlined back to interested parties and packaged in a way that they can use it readily. So she works closely with Flexible to be responsive to the market.
And here's kind of where I'm going with that is, I mean, I guess I'm willing to give them 6 more months, but what I'm worried about is that we might be not getting opportunities to develop that land what our vision might be, but instead what Flexible's vision might be. So I just want to put that out there, what my concern is about the whole corner and situation with that.
Other comments or questions? Seeing none, I entertain a motion.
I move to approve the extension as presented.
I second.
Motion and second to approve the extension as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item, extension of master development agreement for southwest corner of 31st Street and 85.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a very similar item with a similar proposal from staff. This is for the southwest corner of that same intersection. I can summarize by just saying that this one has had significant progress recently, even as other properties, which I think council is aware on that corner, have taken shape on corners that the city doesn't own. I think that sparked some different thinking for both of the city's properties. The Flexible Real Estate has also, I think, been very thoughtful and responsive to feedback from the city council through staff about the type of development desired for that southwest corner. And as I've met with council members over the last couple of weeks, I've been able to share some early concepts about the latest direction for that corner. At this point, we're hopeful that within probably 2 more meetings, we'll be able to invite Flexible Real Estate to a meeting with the ERA board and hear from them directly about their concepts at this point. So similar to the last item, this agreement would just extend our relationship with them as master developer for that corner for another 6 months. That concludes our presentation there, Chairman.
Yep. Questions or comments of staff?
Just think that it's the exact same as the last time, except for, since you did mention that will hope to come to us with some of the ideas that they have. I guess we'll be able to see where they're at and how closely they're listening to us. So again, we will give them another 6 months and reconsider it at that time.
Any other comments or questions? Fred?
Well, I am a little bit concerned that this, they're relying solely on what may be in the works on one of the other properties at that intersection. And if that doesn't develop, is this their proposal going to fall through on that? So I'm hoping that I'm willing to give them more time, but as you noted, it started in September of 2019. So
last December. So they've only been working on this property for 5 months or so.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's probably worth mentioning, just as a point of clarification, that the extension would take place at the expiration of the original agreement, which is June 15th. So that'll take us through the end of the year, which would be about a year total on the project. So.
Good, Fred?
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Quickly.
Go ahead, Amanda.
Sure. Go ahead.
I think I'm in support. I've seen firsthand the work that they've done in person, and it's phenomenal. I think to take on these challenges over 2020 and over the last 5 months, I do feel like they come up with sound solutions, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they will provide, knowing that as commissioners will look at that firsthand and be a part of that decision making, but in seeing the work that they've done, particularly Bromley Park and that sort of thing, it's really outstanding, and I appreciate so much the generosity that they're providing these services at no cost to us, so I think that's fantastic.
What else? Ally?
Just kind of, adding to what Councilmember Castle mentioned, I do agree. I think, that with pandemic and everything that has occurred, it's been kind of difficult to definitely acquire interested parties. And so I think, providing them another opportunity to come to the table, especially considering that things are changing, moving forward, would be definitely a good thing. And considering, again, what Councilmember Castle mentioned, she firsthand knows what kind of work the kind of work they provide and what they've done. And so hearing that, that makes me feel more at ease that, moving, being in favor of extending their time would be something, great for us. That's all I have.
Anyone else? I'm definitely in favor of giving these guys more time. They're working hard, like Amanda said, not getting paid for it. They're trying to come up with the best project they can for us right now, and I'm all for doing it. Any other comments? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
To approve the extension as described.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the extension as described. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. We will adjourn this meeting. And let me know when you're